Welcome to the training diaries. Yeah, this one might be a bit more low key because I'm kind of in quarantine. Yeah, but all jokes aside, I've been rough for like 5 days. But anyway, I'm going to bring you an episode. If I have to stop for a bit of coughing fits, excuse me, but I'm going to try and give you an update of what's been happening here in Pozo. Fingers crossed, I'm better before the World Cup. So yeah, what has been happening? Well, there has been a lot of action been getting thrown down, although, like I said, I've been a bit ill for the last few days, but there hasn't actually been much wind in Pozo, and people have been going up to other spots. Vargas is one of them, and then there's another spot the other boys have been going to as well. So I haven't took a lot of this video footage, but I have seen a bit trickling in from the guys. Obviously, Mr. Mark Paré, who living next door, sent me a few clips. And it's interesting to see this thing. Look at this. Yeah, full planing, one-handed backy. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I mean, I know there's guys out there, struggling to land the back loop, let alone one-handed, let alone planing. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. One of the first times I ever saw Mark was in a junior heat, and he did a planing back loop, and I thought, God, who's this kid? Anyway, that was pretty interesting to see. But we want to talk about Pozo. Obviously, this is when the World Cup is coming through. And I got to talk about Ricardo Campello, because I was filming up from El Viento the other day, which is the restaurant. And I saw him heading out. I'm thinking, okay, let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got. First run, he's freaking pegging. These guys go quick. The top guys are fast. Launches into his first jump. Oh shit! Not a bad first fucking move. Stall double to like bang, pretty hard landing. Yeah, so pretty heavy. I mean, those ones when you land flat on your back takes the wind out of you. You've got to remember, Ricardo Campello in a week or whenever it is, it's soon, he's 40 years old. He's no spring chicken anymore. So that's his first run. Second run, you're like, he's probably gonna, do something kind of relatively safe, nail something in the bag. He's heading out the back. Move is after that. What do you reckon? Lining up, lining up. Oh, that is one of the hardest landings you get. You drop so flat. It probably doesn't look as crazy, but I know, trust me, I've been there. That is heavy, heavy on the back. That's 2 slaps in a row. Oh, yeah, so, we're watching, I was watching, I think, with Tom Air, and he goes back. You're thinking, surely it's something clean. Yeah. Easier clean. If it's a third, it's going to be the fucking ultimate. Oh, shit, it's not going to be. No. Oh my God. Oh. You get away with that. That's a pretty solid landing for a big double. But, just goes to show he's one of the older guys in the fleet now. And he is pushing, man. He just takes some, he takes some smacks. And I spoke to him afterwards and he's like, well, just getting into it. I'm just getting back into it. I've got to take some slaps. And he's just not scared of the back slap, which is the one thing that really gets you. So really, cool to see. He is still pushing after all these years. And obviously he's rocking his own sails here. I think you'll get more information, whether he's going to go through with the project, whether he's not. It's interesting, definitely. So yeah, Ricardo Campello's been having it, that's for sure. And talking of first runs, guess what I saw the other day? Yeah, there's a new Shrunkerbeck in town. Yeah, mini Dunkerbeck. So we had Liam all those years ago, long hair, when he was young. I can't remember how old he was, 11 or something like that, pushing through. Now we've got the new one. Look at this. So this is mini Shrunkerbeck. Daniel, I think, I hope I haven't got that wrong, but it's Daniel. And I watched him on his first run. So I did the same thing, followed him from the beach. His dad's there caddying for him. Do you get a better caddy than Mr. Bjorn Dunkerbeck? I mean, what's he got? Something like 50 world titles or something crazy. So yeah, he's out there and you see him going out. And I don't think he's been sailing that long. It's been a few years, but this is Pozo. It's pretty hectic stuff. First run, and then he sees a little jump goes for it, but then the wind catches the top of the board. Oh, yeah, we love to see it, and just gets back on like nothing's happened. And that's the thing. That's what you need to be pushing yourself here in Pozo. And another rider pushing himself here in Pozo, Justin Wheeler. Yes, I told you about in the first episode. You know, he came with me. He lives half the time in Portugal, so he's kind of like as close to a next door neighbour as we get in windsurfing terms in Portugal. And you've probably seen him on the channel before, and you're thinking, have we been? Yeah, we saw him last episode. No, before that, he was actually a winner. He was a winner of Bail of the Month. Do you get better than that? I mean, there was some stiff competition for this Bail of the Week or Month. I can't remember what I called it at the time. I mean, check out some of these. Yeah, some epic crashes, but that one from Justin, I think he said he did his knee ligaments and all this sort of stuff. It was like 20 odd years ago or something. So, you know, when he said, oh, I think I'm going to come out to pose this year, I was like, gold. This is going to be absolute gold, because he is a bit of a crazy jumper. He grew up in America, you know, with the likes of Ian Boyd and these guys, you know, on that west coast of America. So he's, you know, he's pushing. He's what, 56 years old. He was actually renting from Pozo Wins. Yes, exactly. So Pozo Wins, as I've said before, for me, the best shop in Pozo, all the gear ready to go. And Justin, like I said, I see him on the first day. He's like, my God, this is so easy. Why am I going to bring gear ever again? I just turn up with my bag, get the gear on the water. You know, he's not sailing for hours and hours a day. I think he's just putting an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. That's enough here in Pozo. So he said it was absolutely perfect. So yeah, as I said, you know, we go out for this first run. I'm thinking, Wheeler, we're going to see fireworks. We're going to see fireworks. And he didn't disappoint. I think first run, look at this thing. Yes. Just overcooks it a bit. You know, it's very windy here in Pozo. So you're on a smaller sail. You get a bit more whip than usual. So that was kind of the warm-up run. I was like, oh yes, we are going to be gold. Yeah, so, and then as the days go on, he's nailing everything. I mean, everything. I'm like, at different days, he's going out, he's just smashing out forwards, overpowered, underpowered. I'm like, the guy's on it. You know, actually his port tack is definitely a bit more consistent than his starboard tack. We sell the starboard tack in Portugal. So, you know, I was like, wow, he has got the technique. He's just so much controlled in these forwards. And you're seeing him now, he's just bashing them out. I was like, hell yeah. And then he gets a bit cocky. Yeah, so smashes out a decent forward. You're like, oh yeah. And then gets going again and then launches, you know, straight into trying to get a small back loop, but goes down in the water. Now at this point, I'm like, oh, cocky, cocky. I take my eye off him. I start filming other people. The next time I'm looking for him, I'm like, where the hell is he? I spot him. Down at the bunker, yes, bunker cam in full effect. And he had to take on the walk of shame. Or as Mr. Wheeler put it, how's the legs?
Why do they call it the walk of shame? Oh my God, they should call it the walk of pain. It's insane. I did exactly what you told me not to do. Don't go there. I go right there like a magnet.
Yeah, the walk of pain. He said, it's not that bad, the walk, but into the wind, you know, the wind is cranking. You don't want to be down there too often. And again, it was just something simple. He let go of his gear when one of the small waves came past, and he said it just washed it in past him. And then once you're in too deep, you have to take the walk of pain. Yeah, so yeah, he's had a good week. He's actually just left this morning. And he's so keen to come back. He's probably, we spoke about it, maybe come on like a little strike mission. Maybe not in peak season, you know, there's a few less people around. So that's going to be an interesting one. Watch this space for his return. What else have we seen? Well, we have definitely seen a bit of this. Yes, we have seen some decent bails, some crazy sort of high jumps. There's just been stunts getting thrown down left, right and center. Like, I apologize, my brain isn't quite with me at the moment, so I'm gonna skim over a bit, but you can see now by some of the footage, we have had some serious fireworks going on. There's definitely some standout riders, and hopefully before the competition starts, I'm gonna do you a quick run through. I just hope I'm feeling a bit better, because I need to get better before we do the commentary. But like you say, you can see from this video, there is definitely stuff going on. And if you look, you know, you're seeing these bales happening. We're gonna talk about foot straps. Yes, we've talked about it before on the channel. I made a video on it. And then I was speaking to Joseph Pons the other day, and we were discussing, because he has a lot tighter foot strap than me. So I said, well, why don't we just go around a few of the sailors and have a look how they have their foot straps? So I did a bit of a sort of going around and filming a few people. Unfortunately, the mic was having issues. I've been having a few mic issues recently, but I've still got the visuals. So I'm just going to show you a bit of how some of the pros, Joseph Pons first up, you know, have their foot straps, where their feet come to, whether they can twist their foot sideways. Who else did I film? I filmed Ricardo Campello, pretty decent size straps on Ricardo. Who else did I film? Moritz Maug. Yeah, I also filmed Moritz Maug, who's had a foot injury. And actually he was really interesting because he had one foot strap bigger than the other foot strap. So, you know, on his bad foot, which is, you know, has caused him the problem, he had it a little bit bigger, which also coincided with his riding side. So I just want you to have a look at these visuals. I hopefully will get some interviews at one point, but I think it's definitely interesting to look at how big you have your straps. Now, I think personally for wave riding, if you're in more waves, you're gonna have slightly bigger straps. Pozo, you do need the more control on the board, so you can have it slightly tighter. Again, I don't have them super tight. But again, it'd be very interesting to hear you guys sorry, have at home. Because I also filmed, forget me for not knowing his name, was it Yen? I can't remember. But we filmed just a regular guy here, not a proper wave sailor, doing a bit of blasting. Check out his foot straps. Yeah, he's got big feet and he's got boots, but they're very wide and very tight. Can pretty much only get his toes in. So, you know, for me, I always feel very scared when I have a really tight foot strap, because if your foot twists, especially in waves, one foot comes out and the board has that much leverage, it spins it around. Can be a bit scary. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent I'm going off on there, but I think it's an interesting topic and definitely one to look out for. I've also got to mention this guy, Liam Dunkerbeck. Now, when you start looking at people's foot straps, you start looking at people's feet. I'm thinking, my God, people are going to think I've got some sort of foot fetish or something. So I'm making this joke, and then I look down and I see these things. What? Jesus Christ. Apparently his dad has got the same feet. Look at the gap. I mean, I shouldn't need to point that out. If you don't see that gap, maybe you've got the same feet. But I was like, what? He was like, I can pick stuff up with these. I can do this. Maybe this is like the key to being a high-end windsurfer. I mean, that is absolutely bonkers, isn't it? So let me know, have you seen any feet like this? Do you think it's beneficial for windsurfing? Maybe, maybe. Okay, right, moving on. We've got to talk about coaching. Yes, Pozo, we're going to talk about Joseph Pons. He's been really busy. I've seen him here a lot, doing some clinics, and he's been doing it with the headset. So if you've never seen this before, it's actually super cool. I think it's called a BB Talking or something like this. And what happens is the sailor has a headset on where they can hear, and I think they can talk back as well. Yeah, they can talk back. And then the coach on the beach also has a headset and they can talk to him. So you do an hour's coaching. I think Pons says about 80 euros. And you can get feedback directly straight after the move, maybe before the move. And it was really interesting to see this. So he had a couple of different people, and one of them was Maria Behrens, yes, learning to back loop. So I actually watched it for a bit, and I tell you what, it's really interesting how you can get people to change. Now this, I don't think it was in one session, I think it was in two, but still look at the progression from these early ones, and then look at these.
Tierra.
Venga, atrás, atrás. Tierra. Bien. Bien. Al culo. Tierra. Bien.
Yes, look at that. That's pretty epic, isn't it? And also what I think is super cool is you actually get the cheer, the yay from the water through the headphones when you're filming. So you get this like double feedback. I thought that was pretty epic. Also saw him doing Urcoli. It's in Italian, so maybe you don't pronounce it like that, but Urcol. Trying to do some back loops as well. And this guy, man, he was going for it. Yes. Yeah, he was not holding back. You know, it's such a pleasure to teach riders like this when they're just going for it. It's scary, but it's such awesome to see when people are just going for it. And he did have this crazy one, which I had to look away when I first watched it. Check this thing. Oh, that is ridiculous, ridiculous. But crazy fair play. But check this one out.
Tierra.
Oh, yes. So he did manage to get one. So yeah, really interesting. Also, I spoke to one of the other Italian guys who came up to me and he was like, Ben, I watched your video on push loops, the one-handed one. I was like, yeah, how'd you get on? He goes, I just landed one. This morning, I did 6 tries and on the 7th one, I held on a bit longer, landed it one-handed. I was like, yes, mate. So hopefully I'm going to try and get that. Yeah, I don't know if he had footage, but he was going to go out today and do some more. So maybe I might be able to get some footage of that. But it's really nice to hear that when you've done a video, because videos are never easy because everyone has different feedback. But I thought that was pretty cool. So again, let me know how you've got on with coaching in the past, watching videos and all that sort of stuff. I think it's really interesting. So yeah, I'm going to probably cut it a little bit short, but I have got loads of footage. My brain is just coming back into the loop, but I've kind of been a bit out of it for whatever days, struggling to think straight and be creative. So I apologize if this is not the episode you wanted to hear, but I'm trying my best, trust me. I'm hopefully going to bring out one more before we go into the competition. But I'm going to put a few clips on now because it has been pretty hectic. It's been pretty busy. I've seen a few crashes where I was like, ooh. Yeah, this one from Adam Varchol on the Goiter. Look at that foot.
Ow.
Oh, it's nasty, isn't it? It's nasty. But we're seeing, you know, Pozo is known for jumping, but you're seeing wave moves getting thrown down, 360s, all that sort of stuff. I should actually mention Greg from Greece. Gregory, this guy has definitely moved up a level this year of consistency. He definitely one to watch. You know, you wouldn't think of Greek wave sailor pushing, you know, as much as he's improving. I've seen him in Cape Town, he is pushing hard, and I think it's definitely paying off. He's always on the water. It is difficult to see the guys on the Goya sails because a lot of them are out there. It's hard to tell who's who. But yeah, this guy has definitely been pushing, one to watch. And there's definitely others as well. Like I will just put some clips in now, but hopefully I'll do a more sort of concise version where I actually name check and put some clips in. And if you are in Pozo and you have some clips and you want to be featured, hit me up because I am no fit state to sit on the beach at the moment and film, maybe in a few days. But forecast for the competition looks epic. 2 meter swell, could it be too big? Maybe, but it's going to be fireworks. That's going to kick off on Saturday afternoon, so make sure you tune in for that, even if you don't watch the next Diaries. So thanks for tuning in. Massive thanks to everyone supporting the channel. You legends, you've done it again. I know it's that time of year, so like I say, massive thanks to you guys, and we'll see you for the next one.